Hello and welcome back. And this is lecture 7 of activating positive energy for health and happiness. I'm your coach, Sharif, and I'm really happy that I'm sharing with you this know how and these skills to help you on your journey to activate your positive energy and become a force of positive change in your world, in your relationships, in your work. So, in the last section, we just talked about those key mental challenges. And now, as you can see, there's this slide that has these 7 positive mental skills. And I'm going to talk a little bit about each one. So, the first one is positive self talk, which is the opposite of negative self talk. And we learn a little bit more about affirmations, but at its very core and in its most simple format, find your true authentic self, your true authentic nature, your values, your mission, your purpose, and remind yourself of that and repeat those ideas, concepts, and those are things that are true. It's not that you're telling yourself something that isn't true. It's that you're reminding yourself of your truth because of the fact that we're fragile. It's true. We are fragile. We have, all these things happening in our environment, people, toxicity, negative self-talk, negativity bias. So you just need to have these techniques or strategies or tactics, whatever you want to call them, to kind of protect yourself and keep yourself strong and keep yourself resilient. And positive self-talk is a fantastic way to do this. So that's one, positive self-talk. And we get into affirmations, right? The second one is mindfulness, and we will go through a guided meditation, but mindfulness is this idea, and sometimes they call it metacognition. But even now, when we coach leaders and we talk about emotional intelligence, EQ, and we talk about the capacity to be able to be mindful and not be reactive and learn to watch your own thoughts and watch your own, reactions and become aware of that buffer. Again, Stephen Covey, responsibility, your ability to respond. It's that space. It's the ability to become aware of your own awareness. Yes? So mindfulness, extremely important to handle your brain chatter, to handle the noise, to handle the stress, to handle the amygdala that sometimes just goes haywire because it's just afraid, and it's trying to protect you. Sometimes your brain is just trying to protect you based on past experience, socialization, trauma. But you need to learn to tell your amygdala, it's all right, it's okay. Very good book. Feel the fear, but do it anyway. And we'll get to that when we talk about action. So, visualization. Remember when we talked about you become what you think about. And your reality becomes what you dream about. And again, many of you must have read the book called The Secret, or must have done something related to visualization or manifestation or whatever. I'm going to tell you my own theory. You can believe it if you want. If you don't want to believe it, it's all good. They're all tied together. For me, visualization is just a mental technology that is designed to help us overcome our own fears, overcome our own doubts, propel us and drive us and fuel us to take action when the opportunity presents itself. That's all. Some people will say, I'm going to sit there and meditate and visualize a wonderful villa and I'm going to open my eyes and it's going to manifest. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is you are going to visualize, and that is going to change your internal reality, and it's going to change your internal state so that you can get up and work and do your best and be resilient and keep going until you basically create that vision of yours. That's all it is, in my view. Could be wrong. That's the way it works for me. Presence. And this is part of mindfulness, but presence is this whole idea that, one of my favorite movies is actually Kung Fu Panda. There's a lot of wisdom in that movie, and there's a scene where the the master tortoise is talking to Shifu because Shifu is really upset that the panda is the dragon warrior. And he tells him, this quote, which is, yesterday is history, tomorrow is mystery, today is a gift. This is why it's called the present. And I just really love that quote because a lot of us, and I know I'm just like you, a lot of us spend a lot of mental energy, ruminating about things that happened in the past and what if, and I wish I could have done that, and what if I'd done this, or really worried about the future. Like, oh my God, what's going to happen if that happens, or what's going to happen if that happens? But remember, thoughts, emotions, actions. Worried about the future? Do something about it, But the truth is, all we have is the moment. That is what presence is. And also accepting that reality and making peace with the fact that time and space and quantum, we can get into that, but just learn to be present and make an effort not to ruminate about things that have happened in the past. That's history. And make an effort not to be too stressed about what may happen in the future, because that's mystery. And be very grateful and blessed that you have today, which is a gift, which is the present. Yes? Personal responsibility. Now, this is very much linked to the fact that we have a personal responsibility to be in control of our own thoughts and our own emotions and our own actions, and really making a decision not to be victims. Because when we realize that just like we have only the control over our thoughts, emotions, or actions, well, the same applies to others, right? So just like we can't control others, others can't control us. And when you reach that realization, it's a very, very powerful, because you realize whether it's in a relationship or whether it's in career or whether it's in your own path, you have that control, that personal power, and nobody has any control over you. So when you decide to stop being a victim and you start to take personal responsibility, that's when the magic starts to happen. Really, really. We talked about self-awareness. Now, know thyself. If you don't know your values, how are you going to know when you're derailing? If you don't know your purpose or your mission in life, how are you going to know if you're fulfilled or not? If you don't know, what you'll accept and your boundaries. So all of these things, your strengths, self-awareness is the first step, and it's the most important step. Take the time to learn about yourself, to learn about your values, to learn about your strengths. Experience different things, experience different, modalities, experience different subjects so you know what you like and what you don't like. And self-validation for me also is a very, very, very important skill, which is this whole idea that we don't want to rely on, it's great for outside people to tell us how great we are and how it makes us feel confident. It's like, wow, you're amazing. Thank you. But what about, you suck. Oh, that hurts. Oh, you're amazing. Oh, thank you. You suck. Oh, okay. So, the world around us is constantly changing, and people's opinions of us are constantly changing. And some of them are true and some of them are not. So, self-validation is what will make you happy. And external compliments and external support will make you happier. And maybe external criticism might make you question certain things. It's like, oh, okay, maybe they have a point there. I'm going to make an effort to change that. But you cannot rely on external comments, external views, external input to validate you. You'll never be happy because you're always going to be waiting. Oh, what do they think of me? What do they think of me? So learn to validate yourself. This is very, very important. So let me ask you, so those were the 7 positive mental skills. I hope that, if you have any questions, you can get in touch with me. I can share more about this. I can, share with you some links if you like, but there's a lot that each one of these, this is a whole, subject, but just talking about them in general, I think is enough for you to get a feel for the importance of how these 7 things work together. So, let me ask you this question, which is, what are your 3 greatest natural strengths? And that's linked to self-awareness. Do you know? If somebody came and asked you, we've got these 10 jobs, one of them is a chef, the other one is a dancer, the other one is an architect, the other one's an engineer, we've got a coder, and then we've got a public relations person and a marketing person. Would you say, I'm good with people, I'm a great communicator, and I'm very flexible. I would be the best PR person. Do you know that? Or, man, I'm great with numbers, I don't even like people, I just want to work with machines, and I've got this sense of, I can sit down and do 10-hour work and I'm happy. On the contrary, I find fulfillment in that. Do you know that? So I ask you that question because, again, that's a dialogue. And when we get to the section 5 of the course, when we talk about the PERMA model by Dr. Martin Seligman, and we dive deeper into strengths, which was originally by Gallup and then now by Clifton, and I highly recommend that you go online and take the Strength Finder. It's incredible because it'll just give you this insight, and I can share with you my strengths if you like, my top 5. So, strategic thinking, futurism, relating to people, achievement, and focus. Those are my 5 strengths. And when I found out about them, I was like, a lot of things make sense now. Especially the achievement, especially the relating, and the line of work that I'm in now, where I love to relate to people and I love to, the coaching, strategic thinking. I'm all about the big picture, but I'm also quite futuristic in the sense that, I'm quite innovative in my thinking. Anyway, so do the Strength Finder and share your strengths with your team, and we'll get to that section in section 5, and we'll talk more about strengths then. So that was lecture number 7. We talked about the positive mental skills that are required to activate positive energy and basically overcome those negative mental challenges. And we also talked about, what they are. So the positive self-talk, the mindfulness, we talked about personal responsibility, we talked about presence, we talked about visualization, self-awareness, and then I just asked you this question about what your natural strengths are, what you think your natural strengths are. So I'd like to end with this wonderful, wonderful quote by Buddha. You yourself, and this is a nice segue into the next section where we talk about acceptance, affirmations, and self-esteem. Very, very, very important. And we start to actually do some real-life exercises that can help us activate this positive mental energy. So Buddha says, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. So let that sink in, and I will see you in lecture 8.